So, what if this big rush towards AI, for peak efficiency and all that, what if it comes with a cost we aren't really thinking about? That's exactly what we're digging into today. We're looking at a vision of that future, one called AI's Cold Embrace, maximizing profit, minimizing soul.
The source material kicks off with this line, and it sets the stage perfectly. It's telling us that the AI revolution isn't just a tech thing, right? It's this massive choice for all of us. We're standing at a crossroads, really, with two very, very different paths ahead.
And that right there, that's the cold embrace we're talking about. Imagine a world that's perfectly efficient, where everything runs on data, but it just feels empty. There's no soul, no real human connection. And you have to ask yourself, how on earth did we get there?
Okay, so to really get a grip on the problem, we've got to diagnose the system that actually created it in the first place. And the source we're looking at calls this the profit-driven me trap.
It all starts with what the text calls the profit foundation. And the argument is actually pretty simple. From the get-go, AI wasn't really built to help communities or make people happier. Nope. It was laser-focused on one thing and one thing only, making as much money as possible for shareholders. That single goal ended up shaping everything.
And this whole profit-first mindset? Well, it was able to thrive because of something the text calls a policy void. Think of it like a giant blind spot. It's this chasm that opens up when governments and leaders are just clinging to old, outdated ways of measuring success. They were staring at one number on a spreadsheet while the real world, society itself, was starting to fall apart.
And what was that one magic number? GDP. Gross Domestic Product. I mean, sure, GDP is great at measuring how much money is moving around, but it's completely blind to the actual costs of all that activity. It doesn't see environmental damage, it doesn't see growing inequality, and it sure as heck doesn't measure if people are happy or fulfilled. Our tools failed us because we were pointing them in the wrong direction.
So here's where it all leads, the me trap. When the whole system is built around profit and jobs start getting scarce, what happens? You get a culture of fear, a culture of competition. It becomes every person for themselves, just scrambling for whatever scraps are left. And that leads to isolation, not connection.
Okay, but after laying out all that doom and gloom, the text does a complete 180. It shifts gears and argues that inside this very crisis, there's a huge opportunity, a chance for an awakening, a chance to go back and rediscover some ancient blueprints for a much better way to live.
This quote just nails that shift in values, doesn't it? The new way of thinking isn't about hoarding gold or money. It's about finally recognizing the incredible value that's already inside every single one of us, and in the connections we have with each other.
So the first of these ancient blueprints is a concept called ikigai. It's a Japanese word that basically means your reason for being. You can think of it like your personal North Star, the thing that guides you toward purpose and real fulfillment.
Now, ikigai usually gets broken down into 4 key parts. And for centuries, our society has been absolutely obsessed with just one of them. What can you get paid for? But here's the interesting part. The source argues that as AI takes over more and more jobs, that one piece of the puzzle gets smaller. And that frees us up to finally focus on the other 3, which are arguably way more important: what we love, what we're good at, and what the world actually needs from us.
All right, so if Ikigai is the blueprint for you as an individual, then Ubuntu is the blueprint for all of us together. It's this really deep philosophy that basically says, I am because we are. It's all about the idea that we aren't just these separate little islands. Our humanity is shared. We're defined by how we connect with everyone else.
And let's be super clear about something here. This shift from me to we, it's not about giving up who you are. Not at all. It's about understanding that you actually become more yourself when your whole community is thriving. It's an expansion of who you are, not a sacrifice.
Okay, so with those 2 big ideas, Ikigai and Ubuntu, in our back pocket, the text lays out a really clear side-by-side comparison. It's basically a map showing us the way from the old world to what it calls the new earth. And we're not just talking about a few small changes here. This isn't about patching up the old system. It's a total overhaul, a great transition. It's about ripping out the old, brittle foundations of a profit-only economy and building something new, something strong, based on purpose and real human connection.
And this table just lays it all out so clearly. Look at the difference. The old world runs on competition, the new earth runs on collaboration. In the old way, your identity is your job title. I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer. In the new way, it's about your essence. I'm a piece of this giant, amazing puzzle. Success stops being about profit and power and starts being about the flow of love and connection. And, maybe my favorite part, education stops being job training and starts being a way to cultivate your ikigai, your purpose.
And this, right here, is the big twist. This is the key insight. What so many people are afraid of, the great layoff from AI, this text flips it on its head. It says that's the wrong name for it. It's actually the great liberation. It's what finally frees us from all that soul-crushing work so we can go find what we're really here to do.
So the big question is, how do we actually get there? Well, the text wraps up by focusing on the internal work we all have to do. It calls it the final alchemy, that process of turning the lead of the old, broken system into the gold of the new one.
And at the heart of that alchemy is something called the jewel within. This is such a beautiful idea. It's that every single one of us has this inherent, unique, unmesswithable value that has nothing to do with our salary or our job title. It's the absolute core of who you are. And really, this whole AI revolution forces us to face that question head on. Who are you really, when your job doesn't define you anymore?
So the source boils this whole massive journey down to a pretty straightforward 3-step path. Step 1, discover your purpose, your ikigai. Step 2, acknowledge and deepen your connections with everyone, embrace Ubuntu. And step 3, meditate on and connect with that unshakable essence, that jewel within you.
And this final quote, man, it's just the perfect way to wrap it all up. In a world that's always trying to put a price tag on everything to measure your value, this is such a powerful reminder that our real worth, it's just built in. It's immeasurable.
So, we're left with this one last really provocative thought to chew on. The entire shift we've been talking about, from the old world to the new, it all boils down to this one change in the questions we ask. It's a challenge, really. A challenge to all of us to look past our job titles, to look past our roles, and to start defining ourselves and our whole society by something much, much deeper.